Hi, Christopher. How are you?
I ain't dead yet.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, I apologize. I know we're starting a little later than usual. I
That's
was
okay.
I got caught up. I was baking cookies.
Oh.
I was baking cookies because, as I'm sure you
Oh,
know,
fuck.
tomorrow is Christmas in July, and I needed cookies to bring into work with me. So I was baking a bunch of crinkle cookies because they're my favorite.
And for those listening at home, it's Christmas in July and August.
Well, yeah, we're recording this right before Christmas in July.
Right. Doesn't mean that celebrations have to stop. They can go well into September if they want.
Well, no, they can't because because now you're interfering with Halloween.
No, Halloween goes from the 1st to the 31st.
No,
Christmas gets the other 11 months.
no, that even like that's not my calendar. Like, for being the crazy Christmas person, even that's not my calendar. Even though now I put no limits on when you can watch Christmas movies or listen to Christmas music, but like June 25th is Leon Day, right? Which is the halfway point. Leon is Noel backwards. It's the halfway point to Christmas. That is the beginning of the Christmas in July season.
That's right. And rest in peace, Mr. Leon Day.
Yes. He was a baseball player, I believe, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So then, Christmas in July is July 25th. Now, you can either end the Christmas in July season there, or you can go to the end of July. I'm kind of hit or miss either way. Doesn't matter to me. But at latest, August 1st is no longer Christmas in July season. We're now getting into pre-spooky season.
I would rather you delay spooky season another couple days and celebrate the goddamn thing till midnight.
No. Why would you do that? That's
You're
stupid.
fucking nuts.
So then Halloween goes.
This guy doesn't even fucking 10 o'clock is 10 o'clock on a Halloween night. He doesn't even fucking wait till the 1st. 10 o'clock on Halloween night, this motherfucker's in a fucking ugly Christmas sweater playing Christmas music. I hate him.
No, Halloween ends when the trick-or-treaters are all done. And you clean up, right? Like, if you have leftover candy, you put it away. Like, once that is done,
you get until midnight to watch your last movie of the season.
No.
Yeah.
Once the celebrating is over, it is time to make some hot chocolate and watch Elf.
You are such a fucking scumbag. It's not even a good movie that you've picked.
That's just typically the one I go with. Mostly, okay, like, don't get me wrong, I love the movie Elf. But a lot of it comes down to, it's a good movie to fall asleep to. Like, it's the movie I'll put on as I'm going to bed, Halloween night.
Boo this man in the comments.
And I like to do it on DVD so I can wake up in the middle of the night just to, like, the DVD
to your
menu
selection
screen playing on. Yeah, I miss those so much. So every once in a while I'll put a DVD on just so I can, like, wake up in the middle of the night or in the morning to, like, the menu screen.
You want to
They
hear
make me happy, man.
A really horrible, traumatizing one?
Sure.
It was after my first car accident, right? So I had a lot of spare time, and I decided I was going to watch wrestling, right? Like, on a DVD.
Okay.
And I put in the Mick Foley one, and what I didn't think about while I was conscious before I fell asleep, you know what repeats in the beginning of Mick Foley's music is the sound of a car accident.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's incredible. Oh, that's amazing.
Have you ever been too dead tired to, like, turn something off?
I mean, so I've had sleep paralysis a few times. So, like, not even just too tired. I understand the feeling of being immobile.
Oh, I wasn't immobile.
While mentally awake. Have you ever experienced that?
I haven't. I'm terrified of it because I hear once you're aware of it, the likelihood of it happening goes up. And once you've had it once, the likelihood of it repeating goes up.
Yes. I believe I have experienced it 3 times now.
I don't want to see the shadow.
And I never experienced it until I knew it existed, and then it was, within the next handful of years, probably.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it is a weird, terrifying feeling. But then, like, as soon as your brain is like, oh shit, we're awake, and sends the signal to the rest of your body, it's like immediately you're totally fine.
Okay.
But Oh man, it's
I
a weird,
wasn't
it's a weird
paralyzed.
thing.
I was just like I was conscious
Just
that
tired.
I could stop this like repeated car accident, but I just didn't have the energy to make it over to the DVD player. So I'm sitting there sleeping, and every time the car accident starts, I have another like micro moment in my mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. No,
Yeah,
that
it's
absolutely makes
horrible.
sense. That's terrifying. I'm sorry.
So, anyways.
Hi, I'm Chris,
And I'm Jeff, and welcome to the Sound Judgment Podcast.
where every episode we'll be discussing all of the important musical topics, from reviews to which member of Motley Crue is the most vile.
I'm gonna judge the officials. I'm gonna judge all the judges. It's gonna take you people years to recover from all my opinions.
You might be wondering when we're going to get to the point. The great news is we don't really have one this
We
week.
don't really. I mean, we have. Okay, more like there's a couple things that I feel like just I don't know. There's a couple things that I can't stop thinking about. This literally started when I randomly messaged you, like, "Listen, I want to talk about something," and it's not like a serious topic. It's just a thing that kind of makes me laugh. And then we're just like, you know what? Why don't we like, hey, I'll be around like tonight. Why don't we like actually chat about this? Because
Right.
I feel like this is a thing we both have had experience with.
Oh, yeah.
And now, specifically, what's making me think of this is because I am a fan of camp and cheese and overplaying musicians. Yngwie Malmsteen. I unironically love Yngwie Malmsteen, and I know that he's kind of a joke in a lot of ways, but I don't know. I love it. It's ridiculous. I can't help but also love the fact that I'm debating going to see him. He will be in town in November. Now, when I say in town, I don't mean in the city of Pittsburgh. I mean in a tiny little town outside of Pittsburgh called Oakmont, in a place called the Oaks Theater.
It's
Which
exactly
holds-
what you're picturing in your mind.
No, it's probably even less than you're picturing, because if you are picturing a theater with, like, stadium seating, you're still wrong. Picture what a movie theater looked like almost 100 years ago, and it's that. It has a flat floor with just like a bunch of seats, and then it has a small raised section that has, I don't know, maybe 10 tables with 4 chairs each, and that is it. Like, this is a place that you can just rent it out for things. They do like jam nights with a live band sometimes. I'm trying to think of what, like, when I saw Eric Johnson, who's another just like phenomenal, mostly instrumental is what he's known for, guitar player. I saw Eric Johnson there. I saw Eric Johnson there when he was doing an acoustic set, which is not what he's known for. He sells bigger venues when he's doing his like full band electric stuff. Most things at the Oaks Theater that I see are things like, I've seen like Bon Jovi cover bands there. Okay, no, take it back. I have not personally gone to see them because I'd rather die. But, like, that's a thing that plays there frequently, is the 2 Bon Jovi Journey cover bands in the area. Like, they will play at the Oaks Theater. So the fact that Yngwie Malmsteen is there, and I can't help but love the amazing fall from grace that this has taken. And I don't know why I find it so funny, but I do.
So, the Oaks Theater is like literally kind of like an old movie theater. The only thing that I've seen there is like in recent memory is like an airing of Monty Python's Holy Grail.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they do play like actual movies, and I love when they play movies. It is frequently just a DVD player hooked up to a projector.
So here's the thing, Jeff, is that there was a time when the Oaks Theater was just my local theater, right? And I remember
I forgot you lived in that area at one point.
Right. And there was a time in my life where I thought trailers for movies came out 6 months before the movie, because that's how long it took for a movie to get into the Oaks Theater.
Yeah, I mean, don't get wrong. The Oaks Theater is very nice for what it is. I genuinely love the Oaks Theater for what it is.
It's a nice looking theater.
It's a very cool little place.
Everything about Oakmont kind of looks like it crawled out of a Stephen King small town novel.
Oakmont is such an awesome little town. I mean, the Oaks Theater is on a brick road with just like some on-street parking. Like, it's just a cool little town. But like, I love knowing that 30, 40 years ago, Yngwie Malmsteen was playing in like sold out arenas. And now he is playing the Oaks Theater. Or other such similar small venues.
He's had to move his making questionable remarks and getting water thrown on him by a woman over to Spirit Airlines.
To release the fucking fury!
That's kind of the downgrade he went through, yeah. But so that kind of brought up the general idea to me, and I'm going to use my favorite example of this. Now, this isn't necessarily a fall from grace, but I love just the general idea of when you see artists perform not in the venue that you think makes sense for them, or I've always wondered what it's like to go from playing really huge to really small venues, or the other way around. And one that I always think of was when we first saw Sonata Arctica together in, what was that, 2009?
Yeah.
They were playing at a place called the Chess Arena. It was previously a roller rink, and when we saw Sonata Arctica there, it was like, it was what's the word I'm looking for? Where like they put the sign up on the door saying it's illegal to be in it because it like it doesn't.
Yeah. No, there's.
What's the word I'm looking for?
It's condemned.
Condemned. Like, the chess arena looked like it was going to fall apart when we saw Sonata Arctica there. Like, the ceiling had cracks running all through it. And it was hysterical to me knowing that this band, who play huge venues in other countries, they come to the general Pittsburgh area to play in front of, like, 35 people at a building that should probably be condemned. For the record, the chess arena no longer exists. It was condemned and eventually torn down.
If you could hear the bass during Sonata Arctica, every time a bass note hit, asbestos would have fallen from the ceiling.
And I can't wrap my head around what that has to feel like. Now, again, I understand, you know, depending on where you're going, you're going to have fewer or more fans, and that's just a given. But that's still not a feeling I have any idea about. And I also know that they had the luxury of being able to go other places and play larger venues. I mean, we've seen Sonata Arctica in larger venues just in the Pittsburgh area.
We could talk about another venue that we've seen Sonata Arctica in.
We can. I was going to get there in a moment. I was just going to say, because in fact, we've seen them at a larger venue. I don't know if I'd really say it's... I mean, it's nicer in certain ways. Chris, what's it called? What is that place called? I'm drawing a blank.
Is that the Carnegie Music
the Carnegie
Hall? Music Hall in Munhall?
The Munhall there's the word libraries in there somewhere, because the building is mostly a library. So what is it?
The music hall is connected to the library. I believe it's like the Carnegie Music Hall and Library of Munhall, but I'll confirm that.
But regardless, either way, it's a small theater. Now that's a little more when you think a theater, that's what I picture.
Carnegie Library Music Hall of Homestead.
That's what I was trying to think of. Okay. And which is all fair. I like that place a lot. I really do. I actually love that place as a venue. The chairs are awful.
Well, the chairs they took them out.
I know, but the chairs were awful for a very long time because the chairs were probably 150 years old. And they were tiny wooden chairs.
I love the fact that they tried to sell those chairs or like give them away, and everyone in the comments was just like, why the fuck would I want these uncomfortable chairs?
Which kind of makes me a little sad. I feel bad because they wanted to, like, I don't know, maybe recoup some of their losses or whatever, but like, they were awful chairs.
It was pretty good for a Bruce Dickinson spoken word show that I saw there. It was pretty good for a Mountain Goats acoustic show that I saw there. It was not great for like the 2 metal shows that they tried to have there.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking of. Is it's such an inappropriate venue. Like, I want to say one of the times I've seen an artist called The Tallest Man on Earth, he's a solo act. He's mostly an acoustic. He's like a folk singer. Some of his music kind of borders almost into bluegrass, but he's a folk singer. I feel like I'm pretty sure I've seen him at the Carnegie Library Music Hall of Homestead. That is a long name. But it's not a metal venue. And I feel like we've talked about this before. We're just like, sometimes these metal bands, you go to a city and you just know like what kind of pool you have, right? Your promoter's just like, okay, in this city, we think you're going to sell 400 tickets, 1,000 tickets, 1,500 tickets, whatever it may be. So you get put in a venue of the appropriate size. But it's frequently not the appropriate type of venue.
I love the fact that I've seen Blue Oyster Cult twice, and one was in that library and one was in a park.
At least the park makes sense, though.
Kind of.
Blue Oyster Cult is no. Blue Oyster Cult, I mean, just because of how long it's been since they have been truly culturally relevant, they're exactly the kind of band I imagine plays, like, I don't want to say like county fairs, but like in park festival stuff like that. Like, that's exactly who I picture.
It wasn't even like a festival, though. It was just like free show.
No, I know what it is. It's a free show at what's the name of this park? What's the name of that park? They do the Christmas light show, and I'm drawing a blank what they're called.
It's just the South Park Amphitheater.
Oh, is that where they were? I don't know. Why did
Yeah.
I think they were at, oh, there's that one that's like an old estate.
No, that's the thing. It wasn't in like a huge park. It was just like in a park.
Oh, okay. I actually was wrong about where you saw them then. I had it in my head you
No.
saw them somewhere else. Never mind.
No, it was just at like the South Park Amphitheater.
That's so weird. But
Right?
I mean, but I don't know. I guess I kinda get it, maybe, but like not really.
Nah, it was very strange. It was very strange.
Let's face it, ultimately people will perform wherever they're given the space to perform. Like, you can't be it's a very much a beggars can't be choosers kind of situation.
No, you're right, but it's just very strange. Like, it was probably no bigger than like the park venue I've seen our friends' bands play in. Like, I could walk up to the stage and like be right in front of them. There's no obstructions between them and the dipshit running around with a cowbell smacking it out of time.
Yeah, like you could walk up and poke them if you wanted to, right?
Yeah. They might as well have been playing at the Renaissance Festival.
But okay, but the one that bothers me the most, I want to go back to the metal bands in theaters thing. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but Megadeth has played at the Palace Theater in Greensburg.
Megadeth played. I didn't get a chance to see them, but I did see Wasp there.
That's funny. So the Palace Theater is exactly exactly what I think of when I think of a theater, right? Like, you go there to see the local symphonies and orchestras, right? Like, it's in Greensburg, Pennsylvania, it's Westmoreland County. So, like, I have gone there to see the Westmoreland Symphonic Winds, which is a symphonic winds group, a community group. They play at the Palace Theater. I have such, and it has the red carpeting, and the handrails are like copper or brass or whatever, and they're a little stained and faded because they're old, but you know that once upon a time this was all really shiny, nice and new. And it has the marquee sign out front where the lights like blink on and off from left to right, then right to left. It's such a classic, classy old theater. And it's obviously all seating area. And I cannot wrap my head around who is booking these metal bands in these seating area only theaters. I realize if you want to go see Megadeth and that's where they're playing, you gotta go. But I feel like that's taking away from the experience. Am I wrong?
It's a little bit weird to have like ushers escort you to go see Wasp, the band that wrote "Fuck Like an Animal."
Exactly. I can't. God, it's just so bizarre. You just, oh my God, you just reminded me. When I went to go see the Chainsmokers back in, what was it, 2017 maybe. Now, they were playing at, what was it called? Is it still called PPG Paints Arena?
Yeah.
The big arena in
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, where like the Pittsburgh Penguins play, right?
Yeah.
So they were there, like they were selling huge crowds. But the poor usher asks me and my girlfriend at the time. He says, "So I have no clue who these guys are. What is this? What are we about to see?" And I felt so bad because I didn't know how to explain to him that it's just gonna be 2 hours of really loud bass. Because this man did not look like the kind of man who was going to enjoy this experience. But I understand the like ushers and whatever at an arena that size. It's just people helping you find your seats and whatever. I do feel like that's an inappropriate venue for like what's essentially dance music, though.
Right.
Like the Chainsmokers, it's a DJ. That's again, I will never understand this music that is made to be danced to, or in metal cases, like, let's face it, there's some people who want to like open up a pit, and you can't do that because you need to sit in your velvet lined red chair, right?
It's very weird when any kind of like seated metal show to me anymore, because I feel like more and more are becoming that way, where like even when I go to small arenas, they have like steel chairs out now, and it's just weird.
Well, that's, oh God, I miss in Pittsburgh South Side, there was the Rex Theater. Now, the Rex Theater was a very old theater, so it wasn't stadium-style seating or anything. It was a flat floor, basically, and they would do that where they would just, like, set up chairs, depending on the artist, or they would take the chairs away. So, like, I saw Andy McKee, solo acoustic, one of those, like, overhand, slappy-tappy, August Rush-style guys, right? He was real popular in, like, the mid-late 2000s. Had a song on YouTube called Drifting that went crazy viral.
I think you sent me some of his stuff.
He's really good. I saw Andy McKee there, and yeah, there were seats. Like, this was an audience of people who just want to sit and watch and listen and enjoy. But I've also seen, for example, like Bullet for My Valentine. I saw them there. That was, like mallcore metal in the late 2000s. Mid-late 2000s. Like, yeah, they took the seats away because there were people who wanted to like open up a pit and whatever. The Rex Theater was awesome for that because it was just chairs you could stack up in the corner or not. So that felt a little more appropriate because also it's not a very large venue. It only holds a couple hundred people, I suppose.
No, the weird one was when the Rex was gone for a while. And they were putting shows in the dance club across the street, Diesel.
Yeah, that was weird.
I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna go see... Fuck, who did I see there?
I want to say you saw Doyle there, am I wrong?
That's true, but that was a different time than I actually had in mind. Seeing Doyle there was completely off the cuff, because I was downtown. I think I was getting a tattoo. Your brother was getting a tattoo. And just after the fact, I just happened to see, oh shit, Doyle's like playing here tonight. Do you want to go? No, I like drove down there to see the band Hellstar.
I don't even know who that is.
You'd probably like them musically. They do kind of like a sort of neoclassical inspired power metal type thing. But you'd probably be driven nuts by the fact that almost all of their albums are about Dracula.
I mean,
you hate theme bands.
I do. Okay, here's the thing. I do when it's run its course, right?
Yeah.
Like, to me, like, you know what? I am totally on board for like 1 or 2 albums about Dracula.
Yeah.
But as soon as they break that, I'm losing interest, right? So yeah. I don't know who these guys are or how long they were around or how many albums they have. That's the perfect kind of thing that would be really fun for an album or 2. And then in my head, like, move on, like go do another thing. Obviously, I'm not gonna. Who am I?
Well,
to
they
tell
put
them
out
what to
their
do?
10th album, Vampiro, in
Oh,
2016.
Jesus Christ! Yeah, see, I have no interest in this. I feel like this is related to. Didn't we just talk about for some reason? I feel like somehow we were just talking about this. How like Star Wars has so much stuff that I'm just not a fan of most of it anymore.
Yeah.
Because there's just too much, like it's just like such an overload. Like I'm immediately not interested because I do not need 10 albums about Dracula. That's just it loses its novelty so fast.
Well, I'll send you the best one.
Like Ghost.
Oh, so you'll listen to the first 4. That's really all that matters.
Well, that's because Ghost were actually just only good for 3 to 4 albums.
So, but you'll listen to the first 4 Hellstar albums. That'll be fine. That's all.
See, that's the thing, because like I already know that there's more than I have any interest in, and that's annoying to me.
Nah, you just we'll check out Nosferatu sometime.
I don't. Okay, we'll see. No, see, like that kind of loses it for me. That's uninteresting now. Like if I only heard of Ghost now, I probably wouldn't have given them much of a shot. I feel like I just didn't. I feel like I look at the concept and see like, wow, you have how many albums, and the newest one is this bad? Yeah, I'm not listening to the rest of this. Like, I'm not going back. I'm not digging into this at all.
Well, their newest one for Hellstar is one of their best rated. So there you go.
One of their best rated means nothing to me.
They're beloved, Jeff.
Yeah, so is Ailstorm.
You're good. No, this is no. Ailstorm is funny joke band. Hellstar at least are like they're writing actual music. It's not funny haha jokes about Dracula.
Well, yeah, I figured, but still, it's just like it's such a.
There's no like I want to suck your blood and suck your dick or anything like that.
I mean, yeah, I get that. I don't know. Fine. I'll give it a shot. We'll see what happens. I'll give it a shot. I will add them to my what to listen to coming up list.
You know, last time I saw the Mountain Goats, it was in the Thunderbird Cafe.
That kind of makes sense, actually.
I think they've outgrown it. It was
packed. No. Well, okay, hold on. I was gonna say, yeah, I would say that makes sense thematically, I guess. I think the Thunderbird Cafe has the right vibe, the right feel for the Mountain Goats. But I was going to say, but I feel like the Mountain Goats bring in too big of a crowd.
Take them back to Smalls. It's way too big.
Because we've seen them at Mr. Smalls, which easily holds a couple hundred people more than Thunderbird.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Thunderbird Cafe is a great little venue in town in Pittsburgh called Lawrenceville.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic little venue. I've seen a handful of artists there. I want to say most recently was Milk Carton Kids, who put on a great show. And it's a good venue for more, I would say, like, folky up to, like, indie rock. I couldn't imagine, like, a hard rock band playing there. That would feel out of place. I think it would work. It's a good size for a small pool hard rock band. It just feels not like the vibe of the venue.
You know what? I've saw a like a smaller metal band there. I've seen a smaller metal show. Our friends in Lady Beast played there, where they were the opening act.
I'm sure they happen. It just feels like the wrong vibe.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I got you. I'll tell you what, going back to Ailstorm real quick, second floor of the Smiling Moose.
Okay. All right. I guess we're just talking about Pittsburgh venues here. So let's do it. The Smiling Moose is what I imagine the fourth layer of hell looks
It's where
like.
bad bands go when they die.
Okay, so the Smiling Moose, you walk in and it's a bar. And then there's this stairway on the right side. There's this stairway that is almost wide enough for one person to get through comfortably. And that's the only entrance upstairs where the stage is. And the stage...
There's the band entrance. Have you ever gone in through the band entrance? I've helped people load into the Smiling Moose.
I've helped people carry shit up that same set of stairs. What are you talking? There's a band entrance.
There's an outside set of stairs that is literally just as bad. You just don't have to go through the front door. It's like a stone set of stairs. It's like a stone set of stairs literally to the right of the front door, and it goes up. It's just as steep. It's just as narrow, and it ends up right behind near the bathrooms in the back of the second floor.
Okay, so I don't think I knew that was there, actually, because I have just helped people carry amps up the regular stairs. And you do that thing where you get, like, 7 or 8 steps up, and then someone's trying to come down, and, like, you don't fit. Somebody has to turn around, and then you have that argument of, like, look, dude, this is heavy, we're not moving, you need to let us through first.
I think that's literally the only reason they have the band entrance.
So then you get upstairs into the venue area of the Smiling Moose, and the stage is maybe 1.5 feet off the ground. Does that feel accurate to you? Like, it's a step. It's a step. You step up onto the stage. There is no behind stage.
I was gonna say they need it to only be a step because there's no green room. There's no. The behind the stage is the windows that look out into the city street, and the band has to walk through the crowd to get to the stage, which was very difficult for Ailstorm, who had a packed house and there were way too many people in there.
I can't believe. See, as much as I hate them, Ailstorm needed a bigger venue than the Smiling Moose.
Ailstorm probably needed a bigger venue when we saw them at fucking
at Altar
Bar.
Oh god, yeah. Okay, so the Smiling Moose is a hellhole. All right, while we're talking about Pittsburgh venues, have you ever been to Roboto?
Oh my god, I saw Andrew WK there, and it was a fucking nightmare.
What's it actually called? Is it called like the Roboto Project or something? Right? Is that right? Everyone just calls it Roboto. Or the Roboto.
Oh, I saw Andrew WK there, and it was a fucking nightmare because it was packed, and they were just they filled the building to capacity, but half of the building you can't see the show from because the stage is behind a wall. So everyone is trying to cram into this room and see Andrew WK at this. I mean, it's sold out so quickly that they made a second show.
So Roboto, I'm gonna simplify this. Roboto, imagine it's almost a U shape. And you have, like, so if you look at a U, you have, like, the 2 arms that go up and then a hallway that connects them at the bottom, right? So let's say the stage is in the left hall, but if you sell out the venue, it's max capacity for both halls. That's basically how Roboto works. So when people are trying to see the artist performing, it is literally twice as many people as actually fit in half of the building, basically.
You might as well have a band play in your friend's garage and half of the people have to stay in the living room.
That's effectively what it is. Roboto was great for, like, the at least in my social circles at the time, the Pittsburgh punk scene in the mid-2000s loved that place for some reason. And I think the reason was because nobody questioned if you were 16 and visibly drunk, which most of them were. And it was also great because if you were done watching the band, you could go into the other place and play pool, which is what a lot of people seemed to do for some reason.
Well, this was post-renovation, so they didn't even have pool when I saw them. Or when I saw Andrew WK there.
Yeah, see, I probably haven't been there since, I don't know, 2007, 2008 maybe. Like, that's what I last was there.
I've been there twice, and the other time I saw Tombs, and there was not enough of a crowd there that it was a problem, so that show was fine.
That's really sad, actually. I would feel really bad if I were a touring artist who isn't even making Roboto look full.
Yeah, but you gotta start somewhere.
I mean, it happens, but I still feel bad. I just, I mean, it's like one of my favorite little venues in Pittsburgh South Side is Club Cafe, which is what it sounds like. It's really more of like a cafe. It's almost like if you take a small Starbucks, but you turn the lights down at a bar and a small stage, and it's fantastic. It's great for like small touring jazz musicians. It's fantastic for that. Seen a handful of like indie rock bands, whatever, there too.
Let's do the
Cool little
Spotify
venue.
check. I've seen Dax Riggs at Club Cafe. Dax Riggs on Spotify has 25,804 monthly listeners.
Cool,
Toombs,
actually. All right.
who I saw at Roboto, 1,310 monthly listeners. So
Wow.
there's your
all
Spotify
right.
test. That's
Okay.
what gets you into the Roboto project. Why the fuck was Andrew WK there?
I was gonna say, why was Andrew WK there? He is I mean, I don't know how many monthly listeners he has. I love using Spotify monthly listeners as just like a benchmark. Like, just because it gives me an idea, right? I know, like, Queen, I think, has like 50 million monthly listeners or whatever. It's just a good little benchmark of what certain things are.
I love that I was watching a
Why?
video, and to try to test the popularity of two bands, the guy was looking at how many of the members of each band had Wikipedia pages.
I mean, that's not the worst way to do it. Just saying.
Yeah, I know. I
That
thought
is
it was
at
very
least-
funny. I thought it was a very funny way to gauge.
I mean, I'll admit, I kind of do the same thing in a way. I mean, I look at Wikipedia pages for bands all the time. Now, my benchmark is normally, does the band have a Wikipedia page? You know, it's actually funny that we're talking about what artists have Wikipedia pages, because I was actually really annoyed within the past day or two. I was curious how old the members of the band Dirty Honey are. Dirty Honey has a Wikipedia page. None of the members do, though, so it didn't help me at all.
That's very tragic.
I was so mad. Because I was trying to answer a question someone posted on Threads that was, you know, like, hey, guitarists, like, who are your favorite guitarists from 2010 or later? Like, you know, more recent guitar players. And I was like, how long have they been around? Then I was curious, like, John, I don't know how he says his name. Noto? It's Notto. I was trying to find out, like, has he been in a project beforehand? Because Dirty Honey is fairly new. They've only been around since 2017. I wanted to double check, like, was he around before 2000 or before 2010? Does he count? I'm not sure. And my first step was Wikipedia, and Wikipedia let me down.
Very sad.
Sad times.
I'm gonna cry over it.
You know what? I'm not. You know what I'm going to cry over? The fact that I'm sure you don't have an answer prepared. Since we didn't do it last time, Christopher, what have you been listening to lately? I'm going to cry.
I guess most recently in the car,
Here I
listened
go.
to Megadeth, but you don't want to hear that.
I'm on the way. Tears are coming.
What?
They're welling up.
I said an answer.
You gave a shitty answer. That's what you listened to 3 hours ago.
It's
What
I
have
listened
you
to-
been listening to lately?
I've been letting the DJ run his course, and he's been letting me down every day.
I cannot believe you guys let the Spotify DJ play that often. Like, I mess with him periodically because he's fun. You literally just, like, leave your hour-long commute to work and back every day to the Spotify DJ. And I think you're insane for that.
I don't want to make choices.
You're pathetic.
I listened to almost all of that Post Malone album again.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was in the car with our friend Bleep, and
With our friend Bleep. Okay. Sorry, you have to edit that out now.
I will.
I'm sorry.
I was in the car with our friend Bleep, and he wanted to listen to one of the songs on the album, and I just was like, I said the thing that I always say, which is, you know, one of these days Post Malone's gonna put out an album that I like front to back. He's like, I don't know if he will. And I was like, I like most of this album. He was like, I didn't listen to most of it actually yet, so I put it on. Most of it.
All right. Interesting.
Other than that, there hasn't been that I've been specifically on a kick of anything lately. I have been trying to let the Spotify DJ just have its way, which to mixed results. But I find what I end up doing is kind of like letting him pick like the first two songs, and then I just go to something else, like, or I'll hit, you know, related or whatever, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and sometimes I let him, like, see if I'm in the mood for something, right? Like, I'll let him put something on, and if I go, like, you know what? This is making me want to listen to X or whatever, like, I'll put something on. Or sometimes he puts something on and I'm just like, I'm really, nope, anything but this.
Yeah. Otherwise, I don't know. I had a bit of a Zappa kick. I had like a Stephen Lynch moment, but like other than that, it's just been all over the place, I think.
It's been a lot of Spotify DJ.
Yeah.
Well, it should come as no surprise that I've been listening to a lot of Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Of course you have.
But I've also been, and I mentioned this to you briefly, I've also been on a big black metal kick.
Yeah.
And now that started, I can't believe I'm truly saying this, that started when I found that there is someone out there who the artist name is Grim Christmas, and the album is called Grim Christmas. It is all this guy, his name is John Lervold, Lervold. Like, the album is, as far as I'm aware, he did 100% of everything. Like, the album art, everything. It's only about 15 minutes long, but it is genuinely just, like, black metal arrangements of, like, classic Christmas songs. I cannot recommend this enough. I love it so much. It is absolutely absurd. It's legitimately really fun. I mean, he did the typical, like, take all the Christmas songs, put them into a minor key, and then just, like, tremolo pick the hell out of all of them. It's fun. It sounds pretty good. The album artwork is fantastic. It's on Bandcamp. I imagine, I think it's also on YouTube completely, but I know it is on Bandcamp. Man, it is just such a good album, but that put me in a black metal mood. So, according to stats for Spotify, my number one artist this past month has been Dimmu Borgir.
Okay.
Followed by Marty Friedman and Yngwie Malmsteen, because I am who I am, and I just can't help it.
Yngwie Malmsteen is my favorite black metal band.
Okay, I didn't say just black metal, but there has been a lot of black metal. In my top 10, we also have Emperor and Dark Throne.
Very nice.
But we also have Windrose. Do you know Windrose?
Is that one of the, like, tiny bands that you have sent me?
No, so Windrose isn't black metal, but they're up there in my top 10 currently. Windrose they're more of like a power metal band, but their thing is that they're gnomes. A lot of their songs are about being gnomes.
Of course.
They did a cover of Diggy Diggy Hole. Remember Diggy Diggy Hole?
I remember Diggy Diggy Hole.
They did a, like, power metal cover of Diggy Diggy Hole, and it is absolutely fantastic, and I highly recommend them. However, as we were talking earlier, they are one of those examples of a band where I am afraid that if they continue the same thing for too long, they're gonna start losing me. But I will say that a lot of, like, they have enough variety. They don't just sing about being, not gnomes, dwarves. Oh my god, I feel so dumb. Not gnomes, dwarves. They have enough songs that aren't just about being dwarves that I can let it go so far, and they have a handful of albums. They're a good time, though. It's stupid and fun, and I really enjoy them. Yeah, black metal, some power metal, some Christmas metal, and of course, just because of the outrageous heat, that always makes me want to listen to the Mountain Goats. Because I gotta look at the weather when it's 92 degrees, and I can listen to the line, and outside it's 92 degrees, and KROQ is playing Susie and the Banshees. And then I listen to Susie and the Banshees, and then I remember that I don't really like Susie and the Banshees that much. And then it just makes me listen to, like, The Clash or The Smiths.
Do you want to go see Sisters of Mercy?
I mean, they're fine, but, like, not particularly, honestly. I don't like, they're such a good example of, like, I don't know why, because they are so much of what, I should theoretically love them. And I don't know how to put into words why they don't, or why I don't.
I think you just hate goth rock.
But I don't. I guess it depends on what brand of goth rock is the thing. So maybe.
You just hate goth rock, except for The Cure and the Smiths, which aren't really all that goth rock.
No, they're really not. Maybe that's the problem. Is that like maybe that's the problem is that like I don't
like goth people.
Maybe I just don't like goth rock as much as I feel like I should.
Maybe.
I feel like it's so much of what I should love, and I just don't.
It's a shame.
I remember one of my exes was always so afraid that I was gonna like meet some goth girl and run away.
Well, now
that was a genuine fear.
Well, now we know that it was never an issue. You find a girl listening to Sisters of Mercy, and you're like, turn that shit off.
I'm gonna be like, I don't want to listen to this.
I don't want to. I want to listen to songs about Susie and the Banshees, not songs by Susie and the Banshees.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Oh, man.
I don't know. Do you want to talk about this Tenacious D thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually. I mean, I don't have... Okay. I don't have a ton to say, but I guess I can sum up my thoughts on it pretty quickly here.
There was a show in Australia, and it was... The second member of Tenacious D that's not Jack Black, Kyle Gass, it was his birthday. They brought out a cake, and this was 2 days, the day after the attempted assassination of Donald Trump, which we're not going to get into the political side of it, but when Jack Black brought out the cake, he said, do you want to make a wish or whatever? And he said, don't miss Trump next time or something like that, and blew out the candles. And this caused some backlash, it seems like. But it seems like the true backlash happened later. It seemed like the series of events was that the video came out, and then one DJ in Australia said that he was going to blacklist Tenacious D, and then I think there was like one politician in Australia who said something about it, and then the next thing you know, Kyle Gass apologizes, I think, then is dropped by his manager, and then Jack Black puts out a statement saying that Tenacious D is canceling the rest of the tour and putting a hold on all future creative endeavors. Within 12 hours, the show that was supposed to happen the next night was canceled. Then you got the second backlash of people saying Jack Black ditched his friend of 20 years so that he could have an insured career in Kung Fu Panda 4.
First off, 20 years? It's been a lot longer than that.
Well, it's been a lot longer than that, but it's been 20 years since like the first 20-some years since the first Tenacious D album. I believe they were around and possibly doing the HBO specials before that in the late 90s. I don't know.
I think they were around for even longer than that, actually.
I don't know how long they've been around as a band. They might have been around from the 90s a little bit, but I believe the first album is 2001.
Oh, I don't know. In my head, it was actually even longer than that, so never mind. Maybe not.
1994 to present. Hiatus.
Okay,
obviously
so
now
30
but the first album was 2001.
Gotcha. Okay.
Prior to that, the television series on HBO was in 1997, and before that they were just doing, I'm sure, other stuff, writing the songs and stuff, doing shows and stuff like that. But the first time that they were known beyond just, and even the HBO specials I don't think were that popular compared to like once Wonder Boy came out and Tribute in 2001. That's where
absolutely.
they really blew up.
Okay.
Anyway, what do you think?
My thoughts on this are pretty simple, in that I very seriously assume that a lot more was said behind the scenes than we know. And we will probably not know. I bet the backlash was a lot more than one radio DJ and some politician. I bet the backlash was just all management. It was all behind the scenes. People are loving coming out and saying that Jack Black ended decades of a thing just to keep doing the Kung Fu Panda stuff. Which, first off, I don't have a problem with that if that's purely true. I don't think it's true. But even if it were, I don't have a problem with that. Right? Like, he is allowed to also grow up and maybe want to clean up his image. If this happened when they were 30, maybe 30-year-old Jack Black would have had a much more, like, stick it to the man, I don't give a fuck attitude. He is allowed to say, no, I want to keep my image this way because I am enjoying doing entertainment that is more family friendly. But also, I very seriously do not believe for a second that it's just that simple.
I agree.
Really
I agree with
think a lot of shit was said behind the scenes that we're not going to see. I think there were probably a lot of actual serious consequences on the table if they didn't make some real decisions. Because quite frankly, do you really think Jack Black alone has the authority to cancel the rest of the tour? Do people not have managers anymore? Do we really think that he alone made this decision?
Yeah.
Because that's not how this works at all.
Right.
So I am so tired of people saying that it was some shitty spur of the moment single decision. There's more to it. There were more people involved. But also, I'm hating the people who are coming out now. I hate this whole, like, oh, I always hated them hindsight thing.
Right.
All the people are now coming out and be like, Tenacious D was always trash anyway. It's like, okay, great. I don't particularly like Tenacious D either. But shut the fuck up. Your opinion does not matter in this situation right now. Get off Twitter. Go do something else with your life. Jesus Christ. Yeah. So that's it. There's more to it.
Obviously now we'll never know, and obviously you'd never. It's not necessarily a great statement, but it's something that he's a comedian, I kind of get it in a way. Do you think that this maybe did Streisand effect a little though because of the tour cancellation, or do you think that this would have eventually blown up? Because I it's not like I didn't see the articles before like the band broke up. But I saw, like, one article about, like, Kyle Gass said something, and then, like, 100 articles about, like, Tenacious D breaks up.
Oh, yeah, I do think, at least as far as the, like, the public-facing aspect of it, I really do think there's a lot of Streisand effect going in here. But I don't think they had a choice.
Right.
I mean, I really don't. I also have a strong feeling that there was more backlash from, how do I want to say this? I have a strong feeling there was more backlash from very serious people, let's say. People who have some actual pull, and
right.
They're not going to just rant on Twitter. They're going to go through legal channels and do something.
Right. Because you watch the clip, and when he says it, Jack Black is tee-heeing a little bit. But you gotta assume what happened backstage was a completely different story.
What happened
and even if he was like okay with it in the moment, when he gets backstage, there's managers and lawyers waiting for him.
Yes, I very seriously think they got backstage and there was a manager in their face bitching them out, saying like, "Are you trying to get yourselves deported? Like, what the hell are you doing?"
When do you think we get the symphonic re-release of Dude, I Totally Miss You?
2 years.
2 years?
That's my guess. Tenacious D will be back in 2 or 3 years. That's seriously my guess.
They're gonna be able to pull out all the Kyle quit the band. They're gonna be able to do that one again.
It's gonna be 5 years if Jack Black gets a few more movie deals.
I hope Jack Black takes this time to put out the serious record I've always wanted him to.
Jack Black needs a serious record. James Hetfield needs to release a country album.
He wants it. You can tell.
He does. James Hetfield
What did you
needs a
think?
country
What
album.
did you think of Load and Reload? I still think we should make it one good album someday. But
I think that's the thing we should do in the foreseeable future. Even Load and Reload, I'm gonna completely agree with your sentiment on it. I think there is one really good album in there. And I think there's one album that just can be thrown away, right? One album of cuts that never actually needed to see the light of day.
Fantastic.
It's there's some good stuff on there. There really is some good stuff on there, though.
All right, Jeff. Anything else?
No, I don't think so. Merry Christmas, Chris.
Merry Christmas. Make one tasteless joke about the president before we leave.
No.
Good job. You passed the test.
I'm not doing that.